Joe Sun's story is often cited as the darkest in MMA because his cruelty was not a moment of madness, but a long-standing pattern of predatory behavior. In the mid-90s, Sun was a bizarre figure in the UFC. He walked to the octagon carrying a massive wooden cross and claimed to be the founder of Jo Sun Do. However, his actual skill was lacking. At UFC 4, he was famously defeated by Keith Hackney in a fight that became legendary for the repeated, unprotected groin strikes Hackney used to finish him. For nearly 2 decades, Sun lived as a free man while harboring a horrific secret. On Christmas Eve in 1990, he and an accomplice kidnapped a woman at gunpoint, drove her to a remote location, and subjected her to hours of physical and sexual torture. He was only caught in 2008 after a routine arrest for vandalism triggered a DNA match to the 1990 cold case. While serving life for that assault, Sun proved his rehabilitation was impossible. In 2011, he beat his cellmate, a 50-year-old man named Michael Graham, to death. Prison reports indicated the attack was unprovoked and extremely violent. Sun remains incarcerated in California. He is one of the few figures in sports history whom organizations have completely blacklisted, removing mention of him from official highlight reels and historical archives. War Machine was a legitimately talented fighter who appeared on The Ultimate Fighter 6. He possessed a kill-or-be-killed style that made him a fan favorite. But his personal life was a string of legal issues, including bar fights and probation violations. The turning point occurred in August 2014, when he broke into the home of his ex-girlfriend, adult film star Christy Mack. Finding her with a friend, Corey Thomas, War Machine engaged in a brutal assault that lasted nearly 2 hours. He severely beat Thomas before turning his attention to Mack. Mack suffered catastrophic injuries, including 18 broken bones, a ruptured liver, a fractured eye socket, and several lost teeth. She managed to escape and run to a neighbor's house for help, while War Machine fled, sparking a national manhunt. After being captured in a hotel in California, he was tried on 34 counts. In 2017, he was sentenced to life in prison. In court, he gave a rambling statement that showed little remorse, claiming he was a victim of his own nature. Lo was a world-class athlete, winning 8 world championships across 5 different weight classes. He was known for his charisma, his aggressive matrix guard, and his sportsmanship. While attending a concert in Sao Paulo, Lo was approached by an off-duty military police officer, Enrique Veloso. Witnesses say Veloso began acting provocatively, picking up a bottle from Lo's table to intimidate him. Lo, using his elite training, took the officer to the ground and held him in a dominant position to calm him down. Once the situation seemed to have diffused, Lo released him and walked away, choosing not to strike or further harm the man. As Lo's back was turned, Veloso allegedly pulled a handgun and shot Lo in the forehead. Not content with the shot, witnesses claim the officer then kicked Lo's unconscious body before fleeing. The case reached a boiling point in early 2025, when a controversial legal ruling initially acquitted the officer of certain homicide charges, leading to massive protests across Brazil. The combat sports community continues to fight for justice in Lo's name. This is considered one of the most disgraceful and heartbreaking events in sports history. Undefeated prospect Billy Collins Jr. faced journeyman Luis Resto. Throughout the fight, Collins took a massive, unusual amount of damage, with his eyes nearly swollen shut. After the fight, Collins's father touched Resto's gloves and realized they were nearly empty. An investigation found that Resto's trainer, Panama Lewis, had removed an ounce of padding from each glove and soaked Resto's hand wraps in plaster of Paris, turning his fists into literal stones. Collins suffered a torn iris and permanent vision loss, ending his career. 9 months later, unable to cope with the loss of his livelihood, he died when he crashed his car into a culvert in what was widely believed to be a suicide.